Hi friends and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hello. My name's George Agambar and I'm a UK music producer. Today's video is going to be a little bit different to the other videos on my channel. We're going to be discussing the do's and don'ts of starting up and running a music production company. This is going to be useful for producers and engineers who are looking to start making some money from their hobby. These all come from my personal experience, as when I was starting my company, I found the whole process quite overwhelming and daunting, and as if there was a lot to learn in quite a short space of time. But hopefully the advice in this video will make the process a lot quicker and easier for you. So make sure you stay tuned and hit the subscribe button and notification bell for new videos every Wednesday.
And things will never be the same when I hear your name, since you kissed me in the rain.
As a bit of background, about a year and a half ago, I started up my music production company, Third Fret. And ever since then, I've been working on it full time, trying to build a client base and develop a respected brand. And I'm not going to lie, I have made mistakes and had to learn from them, sometimes the hard way. And it's been one of the most difficult things I've ever done. But it's also been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. And to this day, it's the thing that I'm proudest of. I'm so proud to say that I run my own company. The reason I've made this video is to share what I've learnt with you, so hopefully you won't have to make the same mistakes I did. So let's get right to it and start having a look at the things and practices I would advise you do. Number 1. Find a niche. Find a specific thing you're good at and play on it. For example, this may be volume automation or vocal tuning. And tell people you're good at it. Tell them you specialise and excel at it. And sooner or later, you'll become the go-to producer or go-to engineer for that specific task. Number 2. Know your target audience. There are so many different types of audiences that you can aim your services at. For example, you may look at aiming your services at a studio that's outsourcing work, at small independent artists, or maybe at more corporate clients. And this will change how and when you use social media. For example, a small independent artist is likely to be a younger demographic, and therefore more likely to use a platform such as Instagram rather than Facebook. It will also change the pricing of your services. A corporate client is going to be able to afford to pay more for the same service than a small independent artist, and so we need to bear that in mind. And that's why it's so important to know and have a target audience. Number 3. Be organised. Have all the systems you need ready and in place. For example, have a system for transferring files to clients. Make sure you have a payment method for clients to be able to pay you. Have a way of backing up your files. Keep your files organised. You don't want to be losing files, and you don't want to be spending ages and ages searching for a specific one. Also make sure that you keep on top of all your administrative work and emails. I like to spend the first 20 to 30 minutes of every day doing admin and replying to my emails. It's not the most exciting part of my day, I'll admit, but it keeps me organised and keeps things running smoothly. Number 4. Have a contract. This has caught me out in the past. There's been a time where I've trusted a client, not had a contract, spent a fair few hours working on their track, and suddenly they become uncontactable or refuse to pay for the service. And this is my fault. I should have had a contract. They outline the terms of your deal. So they include details about payment, about the service you're going to offer, about whether there should be a deposit that will be paid before work starts, about the number of recalls the client gets, and the files they should expect at the end. It's really important and protects both you and your client, so I would really recommend having one. Number 5. Have a good social media presence. We want our social media to be clean and professional. And if you don't want to have to do this with your personal account, then that's fine. It's completely understandable. But make sure you have a separate business account for your production. Our social media portrays who we are as a company and as a person. And clients will want to work with someone who's trustworthy and organised. It's also really helpful to have customer reviews on your social media. Again, this reassures potential clients about how trustworthy you are and how good you are at what you do. Social media is one of our biggest assets, so let's use it to our advantage. Number 6, have examples of your work. It's almost a given that potential clients are going to want to hear what you've done. So post your best tracks online, but don't just post a track for the sake of it. Make sure it reflects who you are as a producer, as an engineer, or even as an artist. I would also advise that you post a variety of genres as an example of your work. And this is because if there's a client looking for a producer or an engineer to work on a hip-hop track, but you don't have any hip-hop examples in your portfolio, they're more likely to choose another engineer or another producer who does have that example. If you're looking to work on a very specific genre though, this isn't as important. The most common websites and platforms to upload examples of your work to are Spotify, YouTube or SoundCloud. Number 7, be part of a community. Social media has made it easier than ever to connect with others, and Facebook groups are a really great way of doing this. There are lots of music production groups on Facebook, and these are really great when you want to ask for advice or get comments on your track or comment on others' tracks. And this helps build relationships with other producers. There are also lots of musician groups, and these are great because often you find artists advertising and looking for producers and engineers, and you can simply reply to this ad and hopefully get the job. You may also find an artist in these groups whose music you really love. You can then contact them and just say, "Hi, I saw your music in this group and really loved it. Would you be interested in collabing with me?" And then you've built, again, another working relationship. Number 8, be helpful. There'll be times when we're just too busy to take on a new job or a new client, or actually we may not be best suited to that job. Don't leave your client in the dark just by saying, "No, sorry, I can't do it." Recommend another producer or another engineer who perhaps could, or point your client in the direction as to where they can find someone else. Again, this will help you be part of the community. It will help form those strong working relationships and get you a good reputation as someone who's helpful and shares work around. We're all in the same boat at the end of the day. We're all in the same situation, so let's share the work and help each other out. So those are the things and practices I would advise you do. Now let's have a look at the things and practices I would advise you avoid. Number 1, don't waste people's time. Do what you say you'll do when you say you do it. Don't say to a client, "Oh, I'll get back to you in a week's time," procrastinate around, and then get back to them in a month and say, "Okay, I'm ready to do it now." Most likely, they'll have gotten fed up and found someone else to do the job. Number 2, don't give false expectations. There's a difference between promoting your services and overselling yourself. For example, don't say to an artist that you can make their vocals sound like Adele's when actually you've been given a really poorly recorded vocal track that it's impossible to do this to. It's always best to be honest and transparent with what's achievable, and it means that your artist is less likely to be disappointed with the final result. Number 3, don't rip people off. Make sure the prices of your services reflect the work that you're doing. Don't charge someone £100 for simply applying an auto-tuner plugin to their vocal track. I understand that we need to make a living, and this is our livelihood, but we also need to look after and protect our artists as well. Number 4, don't send example tracks without an audio tag. An audio tag is a little recording that us producers or engineers add into a client's track every 20 to 40 seconds. For example, my audio tag is a little recording that just says George Agenbar, which is repeated every 30 seconds. George Agenbar. This is really important because it stops clients being able to commercially use or release their track as this tags over the whole of it, but it also makes sure that they still get an idea of what their track sounds like. It basically protects your work until the client's paid and received the final files without the audio tag on. Number 5, don't spend a lot of money immediately. When you're first starting out, it can be so tempting to go on a massive shopping spree and just buy the best of the best kit. But you might want to hold off on that. This is because it can take quite a long time to build up a big enough client base and to begin to turn a profit. And also we can achieve really great results with standard kits and stock plugins. So although it may be so tempting to go out and get that U87, it can probably wait a while. Number 6, don't think you always know best. As producers and engineers, we can advise our artist on what's likely to work best and sound best in their track. But at the end of the day, it is their track and we're working for them. We do need a final track that we're proud of, but it's more important that the artist is happy with the final results. And this can be really hard for us to accept and have to do, but I'm afraid it's just part of the job. Number 7, don't be afraid to cut your losses. There'll be a time where we all come across a client who's asking us a relentless number of questions, doesn't seem that serious, and that you don't think is actually going to purchase any services off you. Or a client that is asking for endless numbers of revisions on their track that you don't think is ever going to be fully satisfied. This is when we need to not be afraid to take a step back and say, actually, this is as far as I can take your song. If you've done some work on it already, it may be that you're able to negotiate a fee for the work you've already done, or you may have a clause in a contract that protects you against this. But if you don't cut your losses, you're going to fall down a rabbit hole and do 10 times the amount of work you actually should, and it will just not be beneficial to you. Number 8, don't always charge for your services. Look, I'm not saying always offer work for free. Not at all. We need to earn a living and we need to make sure that artists understand the amount of work that goes into these processes. But there can be some benefits to offering free work to specific people. For example, you may want to offer some free work to specific studios or to specific artists that you really want to work in. You show them how good you are and do a really good job. And this could lead to future jobs, future work, future opportunities, and extra publicity. And sometimes that can be so much more valuable than a flat-out fee. So those are the things I would advise you avoid doing. But if you do end up doing one of those things, it's not the end of the world. Everyone makes mistakes and we're only human. But just make sure that you try and learn from it. Make sure that you're always learning. There's always a new method to learn, always a new technique to learn, always someone new to collab with. And that's what's so exciting and fulfilling about this job. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful and helpful. Please let me know what you thought in the comments down below and if there are any other videos you'd like to see in the future. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell for new videos every Wednesday, and I will see you again soon.